How are you doing today? Hi Ashok. Hi Vishnu Priya. Hi Santosh. Hi Sagar, Shravani, Pratyusha, Monica, Shruti. Good morning. Hi Arfat. Thank you. You too. Good morning. Okay, so let's jump on to the topic. So what did we discuss in our last class? So we discussed mainly about EC2 service, and we discussed about the pricing models. Can you list down few pricing models? Can you list down few pricing models? On demand, reserved, spot, and dedicated hosts. Very good. So which one is fixed price when we need to pay hourly? On demand. And which is commitment, upfront payment, reserved. And for how many years that we need to reserve it? 1 or 3 years. And you'll get a huge discount when you go and reserve it. Yes. And which is the pricing model which is related to auctioning, bidding, and all? Spot. And if you need to have a dedicated machine and you want to use it, and that is a dedicated host. Then we discuss about EC2 families. There are different types of families, and we discuss about instance type. So which instance type we should be using it in our course? T2 micro. T2 micro. So how do you achieve scalability in EC2? By changing the instance type. What is that? By changing the instance type. So if you need to change the instance type, can you change the instance type while EC2 is running? No. What you need to do, you need to stop the EC2 instance first and then change it. Whenever you change the instance type, the data is lost? Definitely no. And then which is the concept which is related to the CPU credits? Burstable. And which instance type that it supports? Burstable? T2 and T3. Excellent. Excellent. So this is what we have discussed in our last class, and today let's continue on the topics. Can you please confirm? Can you see my screen and can you hear me well? Okay. So today let's talk about little bit deeper about the volumes. Guys, volumes we have already discussed, right? So let me ask few questions on the volumes. So what volumes do we call? Which one is the block-based storage? EBS volumes. And if you want to create a volume, we need to get it from the EBS volumes. We know that. And there are two types of volumes. What are those? Root volume and additional volume. Root volume and additional volume. And you know very well what does the root volume contains? Operating system, and additional volumes contain data. And then you can only have one root volume. And then the volumes, the EC2 instance and volume should be in the same availability zone. Yes. Okay. So one volume can be attached to another 1B. So 1A volume can be attached to 1B EC2 instance. Definitely no. What is the root volume device name? /dev/sda1. And Yes. And what is the maximum size of the EBS volume? 16 terabyte. Is it possible to increase the volume size on fly? Is it possible to decrease the volume size? No. So we know most of the things about the volumes, but now let us know a little bit more deeper about the volumes. So guys, here generally volumes are categorized into two types. I'm not talking about root volume and additional volumes. The volume itself is categorized into two types. The one which we have already discussed, that is called EBS volumes that we have learned. And another one we call it as instant store volumes. Write down what are the two volume categories, what are the two volume types? EBS volume and instant store volumes. Write down EBS volumes and instant store volumes. Instant store volumes. Okay, so guys, instant store volume, can you tell me these are persistent storage? What is the meaning of persistence? Permanent, right? So you tell me whenever if I stop and start the EC2 instance which has EBS volumes attached, will the data is lost if I stop and start and reboot? No, no. And that is why we call it as persistent storage or permanent. Persistent storage or permanent storage. Why we call it as persistence? I'll also write it. If you stop and start the EC2 instance, data will not be lost. Data will not be lost. And also we learned that what is the EBS volume size? Maximum size is 16 TB. We know that. And do we need to pay for that? Yes, EBS is chargeable. Or you need to pay for it, definitely. And can you also tell me if you reboot, data is lost? No data lost. So these are the things that we know already. And what else we can do? Here on EBS volumes, we have learned this, but the thing is we need to learn even more in this EBS volume because there are different types of EBS volumes. You're getting it? There are different, in EBS volumes itself, there are different types. How many steps are there to launch an EC2 instance? We know that those are 7 steps. So one of the step is to related to the storage, na? How many volumes we need to attach it and all. And you know very well, there is a one volume which is already coming it by default. That is a root volume. By root volumes, we have additional volume, but in that root volume, but in the volumes, we have different types. Should I do one magic here now? Huh? Okay. Da-da-da. Okay. So instead of writing everything, so I copied this. Hope this is fine. Because I need to write it. Okay. So, okay. Hope we are instead of writing. So we can spend time on explaining that instead of writing. So do you see this here? There are different types of volumes. What are those? A general purpose, provisioned IOPS, throughput, cold, and magnetic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are there. General purpose, provisioned. Write down once in the chat. Everyone, write down this 5. General purpose, provisioned IOPS. Put it in single line. Throughput, cold, and magnetic. Right? In shortcut, we call it as in GP2, there are again 2 types. In general purpose, there are 2 types. GP2 and GP3. Write down that words GP2, GP3. GP stands for general purpose. GP2, GP3. So guys, definitely whenever you're launching the EC2 instance, out of these 5, we need to select one of the volume. Either you can go for GP2, either you can go for GP3. Guys, these are all the shortcuts. In general purpose, we have GP2, GP3. In provisioned IOPS, we have IO1, IO2, ST1, SC1 standard. Instead of calling the bigger names, you can simply call it as GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, ST1, SC1 standard. Okay, now GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, ST1, SC1 standard. Okay. So guys, in general, whenever we talk about the hard disk, we talk about two things. One is hard disk and another one type is SSD. Which one is faster, SSD or HDD? So the first two are SSD and rest everything are HDD. First two are SSD, first two are SSD and rest 3 are HDD. And you only tell me now, HDD hard disk drive. Amma, Hari, Hariya. So HDD hard disk drive, SSD solid state disk, minimum things. Okay. You are purchasing your laptop and what is the hard disk that you always see? Which type? SSD or HDD? SSD is faster, latest one. Okay, now you only tell me out of this, which type of volumes are faster? Which one are faster? GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2. These are faster. These are faster. So comparing to these two, which one are much which one is used for high performance? This provisioned IOPS are used for high performance. For all general purpose related things, you can go with GP2 and GP3 for all general related things. Guys, if you want to go and launch the EC2 instance, and remember, which is the default volume type? GP2 is the default volume type. Certification question. Which one is the default volume type? GP2. So whenever you are launching the EC2 instance, definitely the root volume can be the root volume or additional volume, any volume should be out of this 5. Na? So if you don't mention anything, which is the volume type that it will automatically select? GP2. So GP2 is the default volume for everything. If you want to go and launch the EC2 instance, GP2 will be default. But if you need to have a high performance, go for IO1 and IO2. Like let's say you need to set up a database or you need to set up an application server or you need to set up something really very good one which will be used by many people, then in that case, and if you feel that okay, I need to have a good performance on the volume side, then which one do you suggest? IO1 and IO2 you can suggest. So what is full form of IOPS? Input output per second. What is that? Input output per second. Input output per second. Input output per second. So guys, in GP2 and GP3, you no need to provide any IOPS because GP2 automatic GP2 has automatically a default IOPS. That is the ratio is 1:3. What is the default IOPS for GP2? So don't think that a GP2 is not faster. Yes, GP2 is faster. It also has IOPS. So how much IOPS that it has? 1:3. What is the meaning of 1:3 ratio? For 1 GB, you will get 3 IOPS automatically by AWS. If you assign 1 GB, let's say your C drive, you are planning to have a 3 GB. How many IOPS that you will get? For 1 GB, 3 IOPS. For 30 GB, how many IOPS you will get it? Hmm? 90. So 90 IOPS you will get it automatically for GP2. Now you tell me GP2, will you configure it automatically IOPS? I mean, will you able to configure manually any IOPS for GP2? No. Answer is no. GP2 is not IOPS configurable. So whereas IO1 and IO2 are IOPS configurable. That meaning if you select IO1, you can specifically mention how many IOPS that you need: 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 10,000, 20,000, 80,000. Right? How much how much fast, how much huge performance that you want, that those many IOPS you can mention it for IO1 and IO2. So these two are very, very powerful, and you can configure IOPS separately for provisioned IOPS. But is it possible to configure IOPS for GP2? No. So there is a question here. Guys, remember, which one are IOPS configurable? IO1, IO2, and GP3. These three are IOPS configurable. GP2 has default IOPS automatically. What is the ratio? 1:3. You're getting it? GP3, IO1. Now, what is your answer, guys? Can you tell me which one are IOPS configurable? What is your answer? Which one are IOPS configurable? I want answers. Yes. GP3, IO1, and IO2, or IO1, IO2, and GP3. Which one is the default volume? GP2. And does the GP, what is the IOPS that you can have it for GP2? 1:3. Is it possible to configure IOPS for GP2? No. Understood now? If you need to have a high performance, which one do you choose? IO1. Fantastic. Understood now? And this ST1, no, you cannot mix it. So if you go for, let's say, if you go, and we have something called ST1, SC1 standard, these are all HDD, that meaning normal one. So if at all you want to frequently access data with cheaper price, then go for ST1. If you want to access it frequently, every day you are accessing your C drive or D drive, and you wanted it for cheaper price, then you go for ST1 throughput. Whereas the minimum size is 500 GB and maximum you can have 16 terabyte. And you have an EC2 instance, and which you are not using it regularly, not frequently access data, then you go for cold one, SC1. And magnetic is called standard, that means a previous generation, that meaning many people doesn't use it because that is a very low performance performed volume type. So it's a previous generation, is 1 GB and 1 terabyte is the maximum one. Guys, and then root volume. Root volume supports, guys, definitely root volume should be in one of these five, na? So which volume types does it support? The root volume supports everything except ST1 and SC1. The root volume doesn't support ST1 and SC1, and it supports GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, and standard. And question for you. Root volume supports what volume types? Everything except ST1 and SC1. Understood? And how about the additional volume? Additional volumes supports all types. Additional volume supports all types. Okay, now? Yes, you can use it. Hari Krishna. You can have multiple additional volumes for EC2 instance. Na? Yes, why can't you can't use it? You can use it. For D drive, you can go for the ST1 also, no? You can do it. Does everyone understood about the types of EBS volumes here? Different types. Everyone CC? Okay, na? Nice. So that is the full thing about the EBS volumes. And coming to instant store volumes. What are these instant store volumes? So instant store volumes, guys, EBS volumes are persistent, but these instance volumes are not persistent. So not persistent storage. That meaning temporary volumes. What is that? These are all temporary volumes. So what is this meaning? If you stop and start the EC2 instance, what will happen? Data is lost. If you stop and start the EC2 instance, what will have? Don't get the concept of RAM here. RAM is completely different. We are talking about volumes. So if you stop and start the EC2 instance, data is lost. Lost meaning here data is deleted. Okay, now. And this instance store volumes are free. It's free, guys. These instance store volumes are free. And the another name for instance store volumes are ephemeral storage. What is another name for instance store volumes? Write down. Ephemeral storage. Ephemeral storage. Understood? Getting it? So you tell me, if I stop and start the EC2 instance, which has instance store volumes, data is lost? Yes. If I stop and start the EC2 instance, which has EBS volumes, data is lost? Uh, if you reboot, data is lost for EBS volumes? No. Okay, now good. So, question for you, guys. If you listen this carefully, if you terminate the EC2 instance, what? If you terminate the EC2 instance, if you terminate the EC2 instance, by default, the root volume will also be deleted or not? What do you think? If you terminate the EC2 instance, your root volume will be deleted? Answer is, as you said, right. Very good, guys. This certification question. If you terminate EC2 instance, by default, root volume will also be deleted. Why, guys? Because remember, wow, because there is an option called delete on termination. What is it? There is an option called delete on termination. This option is enabled, or that is the reason why if you terminate the EC2 instance, guys, if you terminate the EC2 instance by default, here the catch is by default, the default root volume is deleted. Just imagine, see, these are all the EC2 instances that you have it, and then these are all the volumes that it has attached. Okay. And if you terminate the EC2 instance, if you terminate the EC2 instances, the root volumes will be there forever, na? Is there any use of these root volumes? What does the root volumes contains? Only OS. Only OS. So do we have any use of this kind of root volumes? No. For that reason only, guys, if you terminate the EC2 instance, the root volumes will also get terminated or deleted automatically. That is a default behavior. See, if your delete on termination checkbox is what happened, it is checked. That's the reason why if you terminate the EC2 instance, root volume is deleted. But if you don't check it, root volume will be deleted. Root volume will not be deleted. And another question, guys, if you terminate the EC2 instance, additional volume is deleted or not? If you terminate the EC2 instance, by default, additional volumes will not be deleted. Why? Because, guys, because what option? Write down that word. Delete on termination option is not enabled or not checked. Not enabled or not checked. Will not be deleted. Understood? So it is all about the checkbox. So that meaning, so these are checkboxes. Yes or no? These are checkboxes. Checkboxes can be customized based on the requirement. Yes or no? Depend on the requirement. If you want, keep it. If you don't want, check it or uncheck it. Yes or no? They depend upon our requirement only. Na? These are checkboxes. If you want this delete on termination checkbox, enable it. If you don't want to, don't enable it. It's all about yourself. And remember, and we are talking about instance store volumes, right? And if you ask me what is the size of the instance store volumes? Guys, these instance store volumes are free. Yes. But what is the size that you can put it? Guys, remember, we cannot choose the size. No. Do you agree that in one of the 7 steps of launching the EC2 instance, one of the step is to select instance type? So based on that instance type, we know only T2 micro, but there are many big instance types also. Based on the instance type that you select, mostly big machines, fatty machines. When you get that, you will get instance store volumes automatically attached by AWS. How much? It's purely depend based on the instance type that you have selected. So there are from 1,000 or 2,000 or 4,000 or 700, 600, 900. It's purely depend upon the AWS, how much that you want to give it. You will give it. And those are free. But remember, is it good to store the data over there? No. But it is good to store the data which are like cache purpose or temporary purpose. You can put it. But remember, if you stop and start the EC2 instance, all the data is lost. Understood? Guys, if you stop and start, data is lost. How about if you reboot it? Data is lost. Instance store volume. If you reboot it, data is. Guys, I know that you will say lost, but I would say data is not lost. Data is not lost. Confused? But at least do you understand if you reboot, data is not lost? So many people will say that, guys, they'll just say this and just leave. But we are going, do you agree that we are going very deep in each and every topic? We are going very, very deep. Many, they don't teach all these things, City. 100% no. But do you have excitement to know if I reboot the EC2 instance, which has instance store and why the data is not lost? Actually, we no need to know about this, but should we see how it is happening in the backend of AWS? Interested? Okay, let's see the logic why it is not, data is not lost. Why? If you reboot it. Okay, let me go and see in the backend of AWS. So guys, in the backend of AWS, you know very well, we have what? Host machines. Yes or no? We have host machines. Let's imagine we have two host machines. This is one host machine, which is handled by AWS only, na? Is handled by AWS. It is handled by AWS. Okay. So you know very well it has hardware, etc., right, in the host machine, right? So I'm not writing all these things because you guys are already well know about it. So at least I'll, okay, like this. Okay. Okay. At least do you all agree that they have their own hard disk, physical hard disk? Every host machine will have only, they have one physical hard disk, na? That's a hardware. That's a hardware part. Hard disk. Because that is a hardware I'm talking. Okay. So, okay, now one customer has launched the EC2 instance. So can you tell me, guys, this will go and launch the EC2 instance over here? Yes, this is the EC2 instance that it got launched. And this EC2 instance should also have volumes attached. EC2 instance should have the volume attached. So guys, volumes, that meaning we are discuss about the EBS, centralized storage. Yes or no? Central storage. EBS, central storage. So you need to, guys, you need to create the EBS volume here, and then you need to attach it over here, right? You create here, and this volume is getting attached over here. Everyone, yes? Yes or no? Okay. So now I'll tell you one logic. Understand this. So we are talking the difference between EBS and then instance store volumes. Instance store volume. Okay. So if I stop and start, guys, if I stop and start the EC2 instance, what will happen? The logic here is it will jump from one host to another host. What will happen, guys? EC2 instance will jump from one host to another host. From here, the EC2 instance will jump from one host to another host that is handled by the AWS itself. We don't do anything there. Guys, this is the logic. EC2 instance will jump from one host to another host. Guys, if the EC2 instance is jump from one host to another host, it has its own volume, na? Right? So as it is stored centrally, the pointer will be happening only here. Yes or no? The pointer will be say just focusing to that particular here. So can you tell me, if you jump from one host to another host, if the EC2 instance jump from one host to another host, the data is lost in this case? No, na. So if you stop and start the EC2 instance, data is not lost. Data is not lost. Right? So what will happen if you reboot it in the backend? Guys, remember, if you reboot it, no jump is happening. No jump. If you only stop and start, jump. If you reboot, no jump. If it is no jump, it is sitting there. But does it make any difference for the EBS volumes? The data is still there. Data is lost or not? data is not lost because it is sitting over there. Because we already know that if you stop and start or reboot EBS volume, data is not lost. We know that. But whenever you terminate meaning first, we know that if you terminate the EC2 instance, the volume will be deleted automatically. We have learned it. And coming to the instance store volumes. Coming to instance store volumes. Okay. Now, you know very well, if I stop and start, what will happen? Jump or no jump? Jump or no jump? Start and stop. Jump. Okay. Let's see what will happen in this case. So guys, remember, now I have launched the EC2 instance here. And now, guys, this is the EC2 instance. This is the EC2 instance. And it also should have the volume. Na? You know what happened? The volume, the hard disk will be attached, local hard disk will be attached to this EC2 instance. This for this instance store volume, what will happen? This is instance store volume. This is instance store. The instance store local hard disk, the space is allocated from the local hard disk. Okay, now you tell me, whenever you stop and start, it will jump from one host to another host. Okay, it is jumped. It is jumped. This EC2 instance is jumped. So whenever it is jumped from one host to another host, can you tell me, guys, this hard disk will jump from here to here? Huh? No, na. So all the data will be stored here itself, na. So whenever the EC2 instance has jumped from one host to another host, a new storage will get allocated again from this local hard disk here. So that is fresh. So whatever the data you have used here, will it be there here? Definitely no. So that meaning whenever jump, what will happen? Data is lost. Okay, coming to reboot. Guys, reboot jump or no jump? No jump. Guys, whenever there is no jump, the EC2 instance will stay here only. Meaning the same hard disk is attached. The data is lost or not lost? Data is not lost. Do you understand the super logic? What is happening? How it is happening in the backend? We no need to know all these things, but it's an additional. You always get the advanced topics also here. Understood the logic behind it? See how do you perform reboot anta. Harmanjot, do I need to teach how to reboot your laptop? Reboot, restart, both are same, chicha. What? Kya? If you know more, if you have more language knowledge, then these kind of questions you will get it. But understood, guys, how what is the concept of jump, and you should very well understand what will happen what will happen if you stop and start always jump, and reboot no jump, right? And then what will happen if you stop and jump happens when you have EBS, and what will happen when you have instance or volumes attached. Clearer? Any questions? In instance store volume, hard disk stores the data. Yes, but yes, that's the reason. If you reboot it, if you stop and start, data is lost because the jump will happen. Nice. If I keep on going hurry like this, when will you go forward? Huh? Predictable usage. Predictable usage meaning in our last class pricing model. So that will be, guys, in which pricing model that you will get it is predictable usage? Reserved, right? In reserve, you have predictable usage. That meaning you're reserving, let's say 2 GB RAM of EC2 instance or 4 GB RAM of EC2 instance for 1 year. So that 4 GB should be there for 1 year only. That is, you are predicting it that for 1 year, this 4 GB is sufficient and you're reserving it. That is predictable usage. Right. Okay is not sufficient, Hari. CC, put CC. Okay, thank you. And you have to wait, Armanjot Singh, for that. You are very eager to do the practicals. Hold on for it. And after doing the practicals, I'll ask you only daily. Stop and start means shutdown. Shutdown is different. Okay. Now let's talk about another important thing, which is called snapshot. So what is in general snapshot meaning? Snapshot meaning. खींच मेरा photo. You know very well what is a snapshot meaning. Some people say screenshot, or some people say snap the moment, or some people say backup, some people say pick, some people say copy. Yes, you know very well what is snapshot meaning. So what is this snapshot meaning here in this case in our EC2 instance? Let me take a real-time example. So let's take an EC2 instance. EC2 instance. And for this EC2 instance, you have the volumes, now, guys, which can be a C drive, that meaning, and which will be an additional one, root volume and additional volume. You have the both. Teacher, yes, what does the root volume contains? Oh yes, what does this volume contains? Data. And I call this as C drive, and I call it as D drive. Okay. And this is the root volume, and this is the additional volume. Everyone agree with this? Okay. So now we have all these things. Now I have put a lot of data in my D drive called ABC. So many data is there. Now I want to backup. So will you take the copy of this ABC and put it in the same drive, another folder ABC, and you think that's a backup? What happened if this whole drive is gone? Understood? What happened if whole drive is gone? It's gone. Everything. So AWS volume is like, guys, is there any relation between EC2 instance and EBS volumes? No. EC2 instance is on the capacity and the data is stored in the volumes. If you want to take the backup, then we need to take backup of this entire drive, entire volume, right? Guys, and the backup of that entire volume is nothing called snapshot. Snapshot is a point in time copy of the backup. Point in time copy of the volume is called the snapshot. What is snapshot? Snapshot is a point in time copy of the volume. The copy of the volume is called snapshot, or simply the backup of the volume is called snapshot. Okay, let's say this volume is having 50 GB. D drive is 50 GB, guys. The D drive is 50 GB. And you need to take backup. And for backup, what you take? You take snapshot. Snapshot also contain 50 GB, na? Backup. And what does it contain? Data called ABC data is there. Okay. Now you went and added DEF data there. So does the DEF automatically get will be backed up here? No. What you need to do for that? Again, you need to take the backup. That meaning again you need to take the snapshot. And this snapshot also contain 50 GB and which contain ABC plus DF. Guys, see, if you keep on going like this, actually the scenario is not this. So actually the scenario will be like this. Yes, for that you need to take the backup, you need to take the snapshot, but the snapshot doesn't contain the 50 GB. The snapshot contain only the incremental data. Only DF data will be there. So that meaning your snapshot really doesn't contain the 50 GB because you're bloody using this 50 GB size. Actually, your volume size is 50 GB, and for snapshot, you're paying more money, right? So understand that the backup here is incremental backup. What backup here we have? Incremental backup, not full backup. Incremental backup. So there will be a certification question for you. Snapshots are full backup or incremental backup? Snapshots are incremental. Snapshot are incremental. So guys, EBS volumes, guys, EBS snapshots are created from? EBS snapshots are created from? Snapshots are created from? From where do you create the snapshots? From the volumes you create the snapshots. What is that? Everyone says that. From the volumes you create the snapshot. If you have a volume, from volume what do you create? Snapshot. From the snapshot again what do you create? Volumes. Guys, from the volumes you create a snapshot. And from the snapshot, what do you create again? Again, you create volume. Creating a volume from the snapshot is nothing but restoration only. Restoration meaning, guys, see, you took the snapshot of this. There will be a snapshot. Is it possible to log into this snapshot? No. Is it possible to log in or access that snapshot? No. What you need to do, you need to create a volume out of it again. And then you can attach this volume to the EC2 instance. We know very well how we can attach it and detach the volumes. And then this will be a D drive or E drive, whichever it is. And then you can use it. And from this volume, again, what you can create? You can create the snapshot. From the snapshot, again, what you create? You create the volume. You're getting it? Can you attach snapshots directly to the EC2 instance? What do you create? What do you need to create from the snapshots if you want to use it? You need to create the volumes. As we are not attaching the snapshots to the EC2 instance, is the snapshot, okay, now you tell me, the EC2 instance is in 1A availability zone. And the volume should also be in the same availability zone or different? Same. And for the EC2 instance, you can attach only volumes. Can you attach snapshots? No. If you cannot attach the snapshot to the EC2 instance, the snapshot has any availability zones? No, it's just a backup. It's just a backup. It doesn't contain any availability zones. It's just a backup. It doesn't contain any availability zones. Getting it? Guys, if you create the snapshot of the volume, that snapshot will be regional or global? Regional only. Guys, EC2 is regional. Whatever we discuss inside the EC2, everything is regional. Keep that in mind. Snapshots are regional, all right? Everything is regional in EC2. That meaning you tell me if I create a snapshot in Mumbai region, the same snapshot will be available inside an Ireland region at the same time? No, you create it in Mumbai, it will be there in Mumbai. And you tell me these snapshots, whichever you have created, will be public or private by default? Private only, na? Remember, thumb rule, everything in AWS by default, it is private only. But can you make it public if required, your snapshot? Yes, now let's say Kumar is asking, sir, yes, sir, can you share your snapshot? Can I share it to Kumar? Yes. Snapshots can be shared from one account to another account, guys. How to identify my another account? Another account identification is happening using account ID, na? So if I provide Kumar's or Nitesh account ID in my snapshot, right? And this snapshot will be available to him, and I can share the snapshot. Okay, another one. My snapshot is in Mumbai region, and I want the same snapshot in the Ireland region. Guys, remember the snapshots can be copied from one region to another region also possible. The snapshots can be copied from one region to other region. Is this clear till here, everyone? Should we move to the next topic? Guys, this is how the other teachers will do, but I don't do it for you like that. Whatever I have taught, I'll put it in the paint so that you can read it later. That's the difference between me and others. Let's write so that this will be useful for you. A snapshot is a point in time copy of the volume. No one says thank you. Next, second point. We say that backup of the volume is also called as snapshot. Yes or no? Yes. And also EBS snapshots are created from EBS volumes. Very good. Number 4. You can create a snapshot. You can create a snapshot from the volumes. This we have learned just now. Number 5th point. So you have EBS. You have EBS volume. From EBS volume, what do you create? You can create EBS snapshot. And from EBS snapshot, again, what do you create? You can create again a EBS volume. Right? Guys, can you attach snapshot directly to the EC2 instance? You cannot attach snapshots directly to the EC2 instance. You have to create a volume out of snapshot first, and then attach volume to the EC2 instance. Agree? Whatever I'm writing it. Seventh point. Is it possible to log in or use snapshots directly? Answer is no. Guys, I want to tell you one thing. Do you remember IAM we have learned on the left side we have menu, na? Users, groups, roles, policies, and all. We had a menu, right? So when you click on users, we can see the users, na? Okay. Actually, AWS will be storing these users somewhere in the backend in the database, na? Yes or no? Then only we can see it. Normal thing. And here is the same thing. When you go to the EC2 menu, when you click on the snapshot, we can see the snapshots available there. Yes or no? But the snapshot should be stored somewhere in the backend of AWS, no? And AWS is telling in your ears that, hey, I am storing your snapshots in S3. Whatever the snapshots that we create, it's stored backend in AWS S3, not our S3, guys. If we go in our S3, can we see the snapshots? No. Why do you go to S3 to see the snapshot? In EC2 itself, there is a snapshot menu where you can go and see it. But indirectly, it's telling that, hey, all your snapshots in the backend, I'm storing it in S3. Do you understand that concept? Snapshots are stored in S3. Who's S3? Providers S3. But do you need to really care about this? I just told you this just because of the certification question. So do we need to worry that we need to get the snapshots from S3? No, no need to worry. We will see that automatically, but it's just telling that it is storing it in S3 in the backend. The snapshots, yes, provider mean AWS. What I thought to write? Yeah, snapshot doesn't have any availability zones. Yes or no? You know the logic. Snapshots are regional. Yes, snapshots are regional. Default snapshots are public or private. If required, you can make it public. Can you copy the snapshot from one region to another region in the same account? You can copy the snapshots from one region to another region in the same account. Yes. Can you share from one account to another account? Snapshots can be shared from one account. Account meaning not your SBI account, AWS account. From one account to another AWS account using AWS account ID. So guys, if you're sharing to the other account, that will become public or private? It will be still private. If you're sharing to everyone, that will be public. But if you're sharing to only one person, that will still be the private. Guys, can you tell me, is it possible to move the volume directly from one region to other region? Volumes. EBS volumes can be moved? No, EBS volumes cannot be moved directly to any other region. What you need to do first? Use snapshots. Guys, is this clear? Yeah. Remember also, EBS volumes are created from EBS snapshots. EBS volumes are created from EBS snapshots, and we have instance store volumes also, right? Instance store volumes are created from a template store in S3. You don't need to worry about it, how and all, because this instance store volume, I already said that it will be automatically created from AWS. Yes or no? How do we get instance store volumes, guys? While launching the EC2 instance, by selecting the instance type, bigger one. So there automatically will get the instance store volumes. And how do you get it? There is a template which is stored in S3 that AWS will take care. But this one I put it for the certification question. So EBS volume, we know that it will be created from EBS snapshots, but instance store volumes are also created from a template stored in S3. Keep that in mind. And also, guys, can you tell me to create a snapshot, do we need to stop the EC2 instance? To create a snapshot, we no need to stop the EC2 instance. You can just go ahead and take it. No issues. But its best practice is to stop it. Otherwise, getting it. And you have many more. You have few things here. So remember, by default, remember these volumes, snapshots are not encrypted. By default, volume, snapshot, these are all not encrypted, guys. By default, it is not encrypted. Okay, now you tell me, I have something called not encrypted. Guys, whatever I created from not encrypted, will it be encrypted or not encrypted? Whatever I created from not encrypted, it will be encrypted or not encrypted? Yes, it is not encrypted. So whatever I created it from encrypted, will it be encrypted or not encrypted? Encrypted. It will be encrypted. But there is something called not encrypted, and from there, I need to encrypt it. How to do it? Guys, for now, just keep this in mind. This is doable using the option called copy option. What is that? And from not encrypted, if you want to encrypt it, you have to use something called copy option. What option? Everyone write down. Copy option. I will ask this in the lab. So if you want to encrypt it, how do you encrypt it? Using copy option. So we are talking about the encryptions, guys. Encryptions are nothing but keys. Na? Keys meaning don't think keys meaning access keys and secret keys. No, these are different. All encryption keys are stored in. This is a new service that I'm introducing. It is called KMS. Write down Key Management Service. All these encryption keys are stored in which one? KMS. This KMS are used to store the encryption keys. Guys, where are your access keys and secret keys? That are in which service? In IAM, right? In IAM. These encryption keys are in KMS. But you have very good thing that, guys, encryption and decryption are completely managed by AWS. We no need to do any other technique. Just use it, whatever the key that AWS is providing it, and automatically it will be encrypted and decrypted while you are using it. Is this clear till here, everyone? Okay. So I'll tell you what do we encrypt? Data. Guys, let me give you one real-time scenario for you. See here. Everyone should answer this. See, I'm asking you the question. I have two EC2 instances, guys. This is E1 EC2 and this is EC2. And it has its own volumes. It has its own volumes. It has root volume and additional volume, root volume and additional volume. It has its own. Guys, if the EC2 instance is in 1A, the volumes also should be in the 1A only. Na? If this EC2 instance is in 1B, these guys should also be in 1B. Yes? Nice. Okay. Now, let us give some name for this instance. Can tell me one movie name. We'll give that name for this instance. Okay. One is triple R instance, and this is KGF instance. Okay. So now we have triple R movie inside this additional volume, right? And then we have Bimesh, बैठ के सुनो ना, right? And then here we have KGF movie. Guys, I told you n number of times. Whenever you are in my class, you should be inside one room, which should be closed, and listen carefully. Okay, don't do multiple things here, that, this, my wife, my kids, my friends, that, this, and so now the question here is for you guys. Now the question for you here is, I want triple R movie in KGF instance, and I want KGF movie in triple R instance. How should we do? Can we just go and detach this and attach it here? Detach this and attach it here? Answer is no. What should we do for this? Right? So first, that's the logic, guys. So first, what we need to create? We need to create a snapshot for this. Okay, I created a snapshot and it contains triple R movie inside it. And from this snapshot, what I need to create? Again, another volume I should create it. What does the volume contain? Triple R. And this volume, in which availability zone I should create this volume? Excellent. This should be in 1B. Very good. So now here also what I need to create? I need to create a snapshot first, which contain KGF. And from this snapshot, again, what we need to create? We need to create a volume, which has KGF. And this volume should be in which availability zone? Yes, this should be in 1A. So now as these availability zones are in 1A, can I attach this 1A volume to this 1A EC2 instance? Yes, I can attach it. And this 1B volume to this, here I can attach it. And now guys, see how did we learn the real-time thing? So you can keep both the volumes here, this and this, or you can just delete this and keep only this. It's up to you. We can detach and attach it anytime, right? And this task, I have named it as cross task. The name I have given. Actually, what it does, it will show how to move a volume from one AZ to another AZ. This is the topic. Understood how to move whenever there is a chance, you use EFS, na? You can use here, but here we are talking about EC2 and volumes. So we'll talking about that only. EFS is unlimited storage, Sagar. Do you want a big samundar to drink water? No need, na? గోరుతో పోయి దానికి గొడ్డల వరకు ఎందుకని, right? Yes. We'll be doing all these things, labs. First చదువుకోండి ముందర. చదువుకోండి first. We should need to learn first. Practicals తర్వాత. Is this clear? Any questions still here? Sheetal gave a very good. And EFS is for Linux only. We are talking about Windows. Chicha. Excellent. Take the screenshots. Yes, too much info, but everyone understood, na? For small thing only, if you say too much, then how you'll become AWS engineers and getting lakhs of packages, huh? Are you in LKG? Uh, Tomorrow, no. As I said, you should give me couple of days excuse. First, take the screenshots, and second one, if you need temporary storage, Siddharth, then go for it. Otherwise, no need. It's not mandatory. Use cases. Use cases kya hai? If you want to store all your nasty movies in separate volume, will you put it in C drive and D drive? You create a separate folder and they'll put it na. And if you think that if you delete also nothing happen, then in that case, put all these things. The next classes will be on the Monday. Yes, you can hurry. And then next is this. And then you take it down. Guys, any questions? Yeah, a couple of minutes. Any questions on the topics? Okay. Smooth as butter. Nice. Good. So, guys, can you give the final CC for today? Hold on, Vipin. Not now. So, guys, remember, we don't have class for Thursday and Friday. Traveling. So, we will be resuming on Monday, on 9th. Great. Excellent. So that is all, guys, for today. And I'll see you on Monday with the next topic of EC2. Until then, take care. Bye-bye. Have a nice day and have a nice holidays and stay safe.